Hi everyone, welcome to my Autodesk screencast. My name is Zan Ta and I work for Repro Products in Smyrna, Georgia. I'm an Autodesk certified instructor and hold many certifications in multiple Autodesk products for the AEC industry. I hope you enjoy my screencast. If you'd like to see more of my screencasts, please search for VAR 2015, that's VAR 2015, or my name. Please don't forget to give me a thumbs up after you watch it. In today's screencast, we'll be taking a look at Revit 2016 and the Material Dialog Box. Here I am in Revit. In the Manage tab of the ribbon, there is a Settings panel, and the Materials command is here. Start the command, and it will open up this Material Dialog Box. You can expand this to be as large as you want or as small as you want. The way this is set up is there are three main areas: the top left quadrant, the bottom left quadrant, and the right half. The sizes of the windows can be adjusted, as you can see. The upper left quadrant is a list of all the materials that are currently in your Revit project, this particular current Revit project. This lower left quadrant gives you a list of all the materials that are in your default library. You have Autodesk materials and you have AEC materials. Okay. Autodesk materials are general materials. AEC materials are those specific for the AEC industry, such as tile, glass, carpeting, things like that. Paint. On the right-hand side is a description and tabs that describe the material that you have highlighted in the upper left-hand quadrant that's within your project. So for example, if I browse and look at carpet, there is several tabs: Identity tab, Graphics tab, Appearance tab, and there are two more that are hidden if not applied. You can hit the plus symbol and put physical and thermal. I'll cover that in a second. The Identity tab describes all the descriptive information about the carpet of that material. You can make as many as you want. You can right click and duplicate and call it whatever you want. And whatever you type in here is that rich BIM data that you're using in your model. The Graphics tab describes all of the information about this material that is physically applied to the 3D model in your current Revit project from a graphical standpoint, how things look. The Appearance tab does the same thing, but the difference is that it applies the actual bitmap image and all of the reflectivity, transparency, so on and so forth, that describes how it actually looks on the building as though you were rendering it within your computer. If you hit the plus symbol, you can see that there's a physical and a thermal tab that's also available. If I click physical, it will ask me to bring up the asset browser and pick a material to grab its physical characteristics. For example, if I go in here and I say carpet and hit enter, it'll bring up carpet. I can double click it. That asset is now tied to that material called carpet 1. And you can expand that data to put in things such as flooring, structural basic, subclass, density, things like that. Same thing with thermal. You can go in here and put in carpet. And once you've copied that over, now the thermal data is also attributed to that physical material carpet 1. And once all this is said and done, hit OK. And now you can use that material in your project. When we work with the materials, let's take a look at, say, this wall. This is a basic wall exterior brick on CMU. If we go to the type properties, we can edit the structure, and we can see how that material looks in that wall. I can click anywhere in these cells to bring up the material dialog box directly to that material and all that information. See? So for example, if I go in here and change this to, say, 4-inch nominal brick, then what actually happens is that when you use tag by material, this is what gets pulled out. Okay, graphics wise, this is what it looks like in your model. This is what it looks like if it's cut. You can even change the coloring if you need to as well. The Appearance tab does show you the bitmap image of the brick that's being used and physically applied to the model. Here's your physical data and your thermal data. If I go to a 3D view and we look at the model, this is hidden line default view. If I go in and I click and change this to, say, shaded, then this information is what it looks like in the material dialog box of the material under the Graphics tab, this data here. If I switch this to Realistic, the view shows you the bitmap image of the material that's physically applied to that model. And that information, again, is looking at the Appearance tab now. Lastly, when you're working with visual styles, there are two of them, one called Shaded and one called Consistent Color. They look similar. Here's Shaded. Here's Consistent Color. Consistent color negates the shading contrast aspect, so everything looks very flat and flush. Whereas if you switch this to shaded, it gives you contrast because of the positioning of the sun. And that's it. That's a quick screencast on your material dialog box and materials in Revit. Thanks for watching my screencast, and please don't forget to give me a thumbs up.